It's big plays.
What a play!
Bad days.
I bet this guy's into the woods $100.
And parlays.
That's the one. Parlay.
Big plays, bad days, and parlays on Herd Sports.
Care to place a wager?
Saxophones are on, and we have liftoff. Big plays, bad days, and parlays coming back to you. And if you rode with us last week, man, you are a rich man or woman. We're feeling the money?
Yes, sir.
Except for me? Everybody else feeling the money? Build a parlay hit. That was a big one. We'll do that one again this show. We'll go through some highs and lows of the weekend, some sounds of the weekend, our locks for the week, and then we'll also have a fun new segment mixed in that I think will be pretty entertaining. But to start things off, great weekend for the two on the other side of the screen. Troy Aldridge, James Merrick, thanks for coming back, boys, and joining us once again. Andrew Rogers here with you. And as it was a fantastic weekend for those two, it was a shitty weekend for me. Thanks, Dan Orlovsky. Which, we had a kind of a little bit of an argument today here in the office about what he did that led to him making the fart noise. Like, obviously he didn't fart on air. He made that fart noise with his mouth. It was a
It
right?
sounded pretty real.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sure.
Actually, your fart was identical.
Which is why it was me and not Dan Orlovsky. But no, what did he say before he made the fart noise? Shaner, can we run that clip back one more time? What do you think he did? Do you think he sneezed? Because I don't. People are all saying everywhere on Twitter, everywhere in the office, they're saying that he sneezed. I think he was just doing the Lightning McQueen.
His brain shut down completely.
He was just doing the Lightning
what he was going to
McQueen.
go on to say after that. The big something.
Yeah.
The big church.
Yeah, the fart.
No, he said ka-chow. He said Lightning McQueen's tagline just in the intro. Ka-chow. I guarantee it. I'd put money on it. That's why we're betting.
Deal with Disney.
Yeah. Now, see, it's ka-chow. It's ka-chow. Now, I missed 4 parlays by one leg this past week, a payout that would have equaled $1,500. I was so infuriated with how the Bears handled their offense in Sunday Night Football. James, obviously wearing the Packers jersey, he's happy with how it turned out. But David Montgomery was running all over that defense. And the way Eberflus and Getsy chose to handle the possessions after the opening drive were pathetic. Just absolutely pathetic.
Let's just take the best player off the field inside the 20.
No, a guy that runs 4 times for 38 yards on the opening drive does not even see the ball. I think he got one more carry, either on the next possession. No, they went 3 and out on the next possession with 3 pass plays, and then the following possession, they ran it with him one time for a loss, and then went back to the pass, and then gave Khalil Herbert the ball, and Montgomery didn't see another touch until midway through the second quarter. If you cannot figure out, if I can sit on my couch and say, give the ball to David Montgomery, and you can't figure that out during that game, you should not be coaching. You just shouldn't.
He was awesome. Like, coming from a Packers fan, he was fun to watch. Like, the jump cuts were insane. He was making our guys look ridiculous.
And this is what would happen. They would play action, right?
It was Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones week 1 against the Vikings. They did the same thing.
It's ridiculous.
Touches for like 100 yards.
Justin Fields drops back to pass, sacked. 2nd and 16. Next possession, let's run it with D-Mount. 18-yard gain, first down. Let's go back to the pass. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Changing it up.
For those of you at home, if you missed the bet, I did share it on Twitter. I had 5 touchdowns, 5 total touchdowns. In that bet was Darren Waller, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derrick Henry, who scored on Monday Night Football. I added one more. I can't remember who it was. And then David Montgomery. He's the only leg that missed, and he ate on Sunday and didn't get rewarded. Derrick Henry should have been the one that didn't score after his performance on Monday night.
Can't remember which one.
Come on, man.
So because of this, I had a good friend of mine pay Eberflus a visit.
Mike Evans just punched a guy, and now the benches have cleared.
Thank you, Mike Evans.
It was Lamar.
He's my
dude.
hitman.
Come on.
What do you
Lamar
mean?
was your
Lamar
fifth
rushing touchdown. Yes, that's right. The jersey that Troy's wearing.
I thought he did it on purpose.
But I couldn't believe it, man. All I needed was David Montgomery. I put in all of that work for nothing. I put in all that work for nothing.
Just like D-Mont. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Did it all for nothing.
The first
7
drive
points.
was great. I don't know why, like you said, I don't know how your scripted plays you could march down the field, take an early 7-point lead, and then just forget how to coach football after that.
And then because I put in all this work for nothing, I had to hear Justin Fields say this after the game.
It hurts more in the locker room than the Bears fans. I mean, because at the end of the day, they're not putting in any.
Well, he didn't finish that, but he said didn't put in any work. How ridiculous. I didn't put in any work. Do you know what I did to build that bet, Justin Fields? And you're the guy that decided to run it in yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, he did.
Unbelievable. That's my quarterback too. And that's what hurts so much is that I can't just completely punch him to the ground.
It hurts more in the locker room than the Bears fans. I mean, because at the end of the day, they're not putting in any.
Yeah, they're not putting in any work. Yeah, sure. Okay, buddy. Okay, I get it.
Troy was on that Fields' first touchdown.
Yes, I was.
Unbelievable. Troy had a huge week, but before we get there, let me describe my other 3 losses very quickly. Memphis minus 13.5. That one would have covered if I would have done 11.5. Payout would have been close to $540. My first inning unders bet missed by 1. Thank you, JT Brubaker. And on Monday Night Football, Andrew throws in Josh Allen's rushing yards. Why? Because Josh Allen likes to scramble. We saw that on the very first drive. He had 10 rush yards. But then, because they were so far ahead in that game, we see Case Keenum make an entrance in the third quarter, and the weekend stung like a knockout punch in the octagon.
And of all the superlatives...
That was my reaction to all of the misses out there. All of the bad days. I had 4 bad days. I didn't have a good day. Actually, that's false. Sunday ended up being a good day because we hit the build a parlay, but that's it.
Friday, the Pujols home run.
Yep, Friday, Pujols at a home run, which was pretty insane.
Awesome.
You guys were on your way to Chicago, and I got a FaceTime call, and all I did, I didn't answer. I was in the shower at the time, and I got a following text from Troy that said, "You're insane." Which is absolutely insane that I predicted his 698th home run, and I actually think we're recording on Wednesday. I bet he gets his 699th tonight in San Diego. So when we listen back, Blake Snell on the bump. He hits very well against left-handed hitters. He loves to hit home runs on the road. Albert Pujols, he'll get 4 at-bats tonight, and one of them is going to go over the left field wall.
I love how they're sticking him in like the 2 and 3 hole. It's so cool. Just guarantee those 4 at-bats. Almost guarantee.
Now, Troy had a big win in the Ravens game. Troy, talk parlay.
So, had a $25 free bet. Was trying to think
the
about
system.
do something outlandish. I mean, honestly, sometimes when I put bets together, I tell myself, "There's no way," but bug it.
What if?
Yeah, exactly.
You beat the system. That's how you got all these free bets.
Unfortunately, fortunately now, I thought Marlon Humphrey wasn't supposed to play. And I had no idea that Marcus Peters is practicing in full. Things I should know, but they both ended up playing after I placed this bet. So I was kind of like, well, that bet's out the window. I loved 3 guys: Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Mark Andrews. Boom, there's 3 legs all to score. I had their yards.
Might as well have done 2 touchdowns.
Basically all their receiving yards over 50 to 60, which they made that look easy. I actually saw that Tua pick coming. He threw 2, and I doubled down on the Lamar 2 passing touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
1, 2, 3,
Now,
4, 8 legs, 8 of them.
Now those
The way that hit.
Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The way that hit too. Me, Troy, and his girlfriend Emily are on the way back from Chicago, and we stopped at a Hooters to get some food.
Naturally.
By the way, the service was terrible. We waited like 45 minutes for ranch. Had to eat our fries and wings.
You don't go to Hooters for service, though.
Well, and then another 45 for a fork.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. All right. So anyways, so we're watching the Ravens-Dolphins games up there on the TV. and our waitress talking our ear off about her boyfriend or something. And so we're all super engaged in the conversation. And I look up, and Tyreek, he went out earlier in the game with cramps. And I look up,
thought the bet was done.
He's holding his stomach, and I was like, oh, dude, he got rocked. He's done. They pan over to Tua, and he's fist pumping, jumping into his teammates. And I just see the points go up, and I was like, no way. And we all of our jaws just dropped, and we just saw the replay of it, and Tyreek just burns everybody.
James goes,
he typically does.
Dude, I think Tyreek just scored.
And then what followed though? Because you can't just say like, oh, that was the last leg for sure. Did you guys go through the bet slip one by one?
Just
I literally
double
said,
check.
I said, Emily,
as soon as he
stop. I said, before we celebrate, pull up Bleacher Report or pull up your bet slip. I'm pulling up Bleacher Report. We're going through one by one and ticking them. And I just check all the way down.
And Troy took home how much money?
We split it because it was
2 G's though, right? 2 G's?
Yes.
So
yes.
a G each?
2 G's.
Did you guys pay for lunch?
One apiece. Yes.
You did pay for lunch?
I said, no, not mine.
Asshole.
I said,
Come on, man.
On Emily, and no.
He hit two. He hit two as well.
That is true. James did hit, but not that much.
Not that
needed
much.
it.
Not even combined.
Well, so you guys had big wins. Another team also had a big win.
Into the end zone. Caught for the touchdown. Caught for the touchdown. Waddle. Miami is taking the lead.
Jalen Waddle, DFS Player of the Week.
Bama boy.
Troy, that must have been a heartbreaker, but at the same time, if you're taking home $2,000, I don't think you're too upset.
It did help.
At a week 2 game, yeah, I think you're fine.
It was luckily, like I said, that hit as the plummeting started to happen. So I was still kind of on a high after hitting that, just watching Miami score again and again and again.
Which was insane. Insane.
It was, and you can blame the defense all you want, but Lamar couldn't just get a few first downs. Like he didn't. They were going 3 and out and punting the ball right back, putting the defense right back on the field. So they just, when they try to slow up and clock manage is when they start playing poorly, which most teams do. They try to slow down and get cute. They just should have kept playing the way they played the first half.
Yeah, I don't think Tua is as good of a quarterback as the Ravens made him look in week 2. That's insane.
6 touchdowns, 500 yards.
I don't.
He didn't do that at Bama.
Yeah, move on. Throw it away.
He did win a
move on to the
national
next one.
title, though, as a backup. He did do that. Now, meanwhile, while Troy was winning money, James got caught up doing other things this weekend.
Clearing out defenders faster than a teenager clears his search history on his web browser.
Oh, really, James?
So that's why he was gone for so long.
No wonder.
In terms of winning instead of losing, like
I don't know. I don't know if that was what Mark Sanchez was implying.
Raj cleared out those bet slips he lost.
James didn't want to hear any more of that Hooters boyfriend talk, so he just maybe made a quick trip to the bathroom.
Out of nowhere, too. Like,
good God, dude, like we care.
Yeah, she started talking about how she had all the baby wipes in her car.
Oh,
great.
Man. How about that Cardinal game though? And I'm not even talking about just one Cardinal game. I'm talking about them both. As we alluded to, Pujols hitting that home run on Friday, which was huge for the Bill to parlay. And then how fitting that it goes full circle and comes back around for Devontae Adams to catch that first half touchdown.
Yes,
that was
sir.
insane. Another great story. He was on the phone with his dad, like, just having a normal conversation. And I see they're at the 1 yard line. And he scores, and I'm like being loud, but still having to be quiet. Like, dude, he just scored. James completely lost his train of thought.
I was talking to my dad. I was like, yeah, and then, sorry, I don't know what happened. Our parlay that we built on the show just hit.
What's funny about that is Troy probably reacted as if he were in church watching the Super Bowl. And his team just scored.
Adams!
And you're whispering but yelling to James on the other side of the church, and you're like trying to get his attention. You're like doing the little head nod. Like
It hit.
It was awesome, dude.
Oh man. And then Troy, Haley's boyfriend Tanner, Haley, Troy's sister, needed the Raiders plus 2.5, so that had to been devastation for him.
Yes, it was. It was his last leg too. He had some noon games, and yeah, his Raiders folded. Man, I mean, I'm glad I didn't. Really touch that game.
The fans were popping champagne.
20-0. They're popping Ciroc in the first
in field goal range. Yep.
20-0.
I mean, I feel like we just got the trailer of Warzone 2.0 in this game.
Kyler Murray answered the call of duty.
He did. He answered the call of duty.
Kyler Murray answered the call of duty.
This man bet on the Lions money line, and the Raiders boned him.
That's insane. Can you imagine putting the Jets in that too? Who, if you listen back to last episode, I was high on. I gave them the week 2 betting trends. Jeez, I said treading bends. I was at least that's where my head was going.
Yeah, good enunciation.
We had a lot of mistakes.
Joe Cool is forever goated, man. I love seeing that dude do well, especially against the Browns. Fantastic.
Yeah, divisional rival there.
Check down Joe.
Now, you guys in Chicago, though, I mean, obviously you were watching your sports bets as you could on the way home, but the reason you were in Chicago was actually for the Live.
Couldn't watch it Saturday. Yeah, we had no service. It was miserable.
Well, it's funny because I was texting. I was trying to text you both, and it was going through green, and I thought you guys exchanged your iPhones for Androids or something.
I did.
I was thinking about it after the lack of service there.
Yeah, I did the day-long Android plan, but no, I got it back the next day, and we made those football bets, so that was good.
Thank goodness.
No, that was super fun, though, to watch the Live Tour. Like, I had no idea what to expect. Troy had saw something on the internet that the first round was, like, really scarce and stuff, and that there weren't a lot of fans, and then we show up, and the lines to get in are insane. The parking lot was just a cornfield that had been mowed down, and we walk all the way up to the gate. Emily's bag's too big. Everybody else is already in. They won't let them go out, so I have to walk all the way back to the car.
Was she carrying golf clubs?
Yeah.
Did they stop?
Did
they stop every golfer walking through? Yeah, sorry, your bag's too big and it's not clear, so you can't play.
Oh my god!
And there's people with backpacks on. There's like,
we're like,
there's bags the exact same size that we see in there. I don't know.
They put up a little stick, like no longer than my hand, and we're like, oh, I don't know. And they like referenced over to another guy, and he was like, no, that can't get in. So me and Emily had to walk all the way back, and then all the way back again. People are
Emily and I
dogging my Bryce Young jersey the whole time. Yeah, shut up. And then we got in there, and it was awesome, dude. They had so many festivities set up for like kids and stuff, and honestly adults too. Like they had fastest pitch for baseball. They had like the impossible putt,
the longest putt.
So was it like here to make it the comparison in Omaha, like attending the College World Series, there's a bunch of like those pop-up tents and the fun zone essentially. Is that kind of what the Live is? Because the Live is just like a giant party.
That's literally what
awesome,
they say. It's golf but louder.
Blaring when we walked up. Yeah, golf but louder. It was cool. And we walked up, and there's dudes parachuting onto the 18th green.
No way.
The first guy makes it clean as day. Second guy, oh god, hits the branches of the tree. Swore he was gonna get stuck. Branches are falling down right next to people, like massive ones would have taken a kid out. And luckily nobody got hurt.
It's like a comedy movie.
It was awesome. It was great. And that was just the start of it, and then it was great.
Wow. Well, thanks for the invite.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh my god, what the fuck, guys? Okay.
I'm so mad that didn't happen Saturday, dude.
Thanks, Bryson. Bryson DeChambeau speaks for me.
Yeah, because he boned us, so he deserves to get drilled in the eye.
Did you guys cash in on any bets while you were there?
He did because he did 3 legs and I did 4. Taylor Gooch can suck it.
So I did the night before we went. I did Cam Smith. Our boy Lakeem Neiman. That's what we started calling him because that dude's just a lock.
He's so good.
I kind of like that.
He's awesome.
Lakeem.
Yeah. Lakeem. Him. And then Harold Varner III almost killed a lady, but he bounced back and he got in on there.
He bounced back just like the ball.
Dude, yeah, right onto the green. So yeah, that was Cam Smith tied DJ, so it was 15 to win, like 89. So that wasn't bad. And then I put 25 on Cam Smith outright after the first round when he was down 2, so that was to win 107. So those both hit.
So what you're telling us, James, is people should ride you this week for the President's Cup.
I mean, if they're trying to make some money, then yes.
What do you like? I mean, I really don't even know how the President's Cup operates. I normally turn on golf, and I just know that it's the internationals against, like, the U.S.
are insane.
Dude, okay, so it's pretty ridiculous. So the USA team has 5 of the top 10 players in the world, and the international team has 0 players in the top 15. On top of that, the U.S. team only has 5 rookies, and the international team has 8 rookies. So I originally was thinking about betting international team, but I don't know if I can do that straight up. They're only plus 700 too. If their odds were like in the quadruple digits, I think that'd be better. But
they're only plus 700, not 7,000.
700, dude.
That's
and,
it.
They also
I
haven't
saw an extra
won.
0.
They also haven't won in like 20 or 19 years.
Dear
or no,
Lord.
22 years, because I think 19 years ago was a tie in 03.
Just bet the draw at 1,600.
So what I like is the matchups, or I guess the matchups haven't come out yet, but the matchups will be out. I'll be betting on those. But I like players to just score the most. I like the odds for Sung J M are absolutely ridiculous, plus 2,000 to score the most points. He's plus 600 if you just want to bet him on the international team most points. But he's just playing ridiculous lately. Last 5 events, all top 15, including 3 second places. And then his last event at the President's Cup, he went 3-1-1 in his matchups. So he was the highest scorer on the international team the last time out too. So I love that. And then if you want to stay safe with the USA team, I like Max Homa. 2 wins in a row his last 2 events. He's just playing ridiculous. His course plays to long off the tee, straight drivers, which is exactly what he is. He's won at Quail Hollow before.
Just like me.
Yeah. Oh, dude, exactly.
Long off the tee and
like
straight.
You, it's so crazy. Like sometimes I call you Max. But no, he won there in 2019, so I like that too. He's plus 1,200 to have the most points for USA. So those are the 2 guys I like the most, and then I'll probably hit the matchups as well.
And that starts Thursday, and Thursday night, of course, is Thursday Night Football. Browns, Steelers, divisional opponents. Steelers just lost to New England. The Browns just lost to the Jets. It will be, I think, an interesting game. And I am staying away from the Browns in this one. I don't know about you guys, but Kevin Stefanski is 1-11 against the spread versus divisional opponents as the head coach of the Browns. The Steelers are 48-26-4 against the spread as an underdog under Mike Tomlin. And if you were to put like $100 on him since 2003, he would have cashed you over $2,000. He's just the most profitable head coach when it comes to being the dog. He's 26-2 against the spread the Steelers rather are 26-2 against the spread as an underdog versus teams in the AFC North. I know they don't have Ben Roethlisberger anymore. I know Mitchell Trubisky's at the helm. Kenny Pickett could eventually take over at some point. I wouldn't be shocked if we see him sooner rather than later. Cash me in on the Steelers plus 4 in this game. And if you have DraftKings, take the boost of 7 points anytime money line bet. That is at plus 160. Troy and I actually cashed that in on the Chargers last week.
Yes, we did.
I love the Steelers plus 4.5 is awesome this week. Both their games have been close so far. Like you said, their Browns are coming off that loss to the Jets. Disgusting. Anything. I'm barely touching this game. If anything, I might do like a 3-touchdown parlay or something, maybe a first touchdown.
Now, I actually think the player props are interesting because Najee Harris still trying to recover from that foot injury. He just hasn't been himself, hasn't been that explosive back that we saw last year. I like his under 59.5 rushing yards in this game. The Browns have given up just 73.5 yards per game, which is the 4th lowest out of any team this season. I'm in on Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb has secured at least 80 yards in all but 5 games since the start of last year. The Steelers' D have given up 128.5 yards per game this year. I like Chubb over 85.5 rushing yards. Take Deontay Johnson over 64.5 receiving. I know there's been talk about George Pickens getting more involved in the offense. I'll believe it when I see it. Right now it's been Deontay Johnson, and he's been getting all the targets as well. Take a Chubb touchdown, too. Nick Chubb will find his way into the end zone. He did that 3 times last week. He did not cost the Browns the game against the Jets, despite popular belief or whatever Nick Chubb said in his press conference. And I also like Pat Freiermuth. I like Pat Freiermuth to get into the end zone as well. He did the past 2 weeks, and it seems like Mitch Trubisky likes to rely on him when they get into the red zone.
He does. Yeah. Yeah, I also like Chubb and Freiermuth as well as Deontay Johnson to get into the end zone. Those 3 are probably the parlay I'd put together. It's plus 2,200. The odds are good on that. So I figure if I do anything, I might throw 10 on that. Or I like first touchdowns. I like the defenses. I always love first touchdown defense because I cashed on the Dolphins last year against the Saints. And it was so cool. But
and most
Browns
defenses
are 2,500.
Yeah, I was going to say most
Browns
defenses are over
2,500. Steelers are 3,500, and the Steelers defense cashed first touchdown week 1 against the Bengals. So
riding high on first touchdowns there. Troy, what do you think about Najee Harris under 59.5 rushing yards?
I remember looking up his stats earlier, and his yards weren't fantastic. Like, I think they were right around 3 yards a carry, but he found the end zone both times last year. So he obviously wasn't breaking off big runs, but they were feeding him inside the 5-yard line.
And they also had a better quarterback too at the time. So with the way I look at it, like with Mitch Trubisky at the helm of this offense, the offensive line really hasn't been as strong as they were last year. Najee just isn't getting the bulk yardage that we've seen from him, at least this year.
I feel like they want this game to be gross. Like, I think they want us to think like the over under I saw was at like 38.5 or something. And I feel like the under makes sense, but for some reason I just see this gross game. Could be gross touchdowns, but I see 4 touchdowns in this game, honestly.
4 touchdowns, really?
Yeah.
Out of who?
I like Johnson. I love Chubb. I liked Pat. I don't think that's a bad one. Another Brown. I like Amari Cooper for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why.
Amari Cooper?
He got me last week. I was on him last week. You know, he had I think it was
he's the only option there.
Touchdown. Right. Yeah, I agree. Njoku, when we were driving back to Chicago, we were only really listening to Red Zone. I was hearing his name a lot.
Really?
Especially near especially in the red zone.
Yeah, that part we were watching it at least.
Maybe when it comes to a touchdown, I just know his yardages just haven't been there this year. Now, I think Freiermuth is the juiciest part to that parlay. Yes, the under 59.5. Oh, I'm sorry. Rather, the over 84.5 and 64.5 receiving for Deontay and Chubb were dogs. But Freiermuth is plus 350 to catch a touchdown in same-game parlays.
I was on him last week. He was like 280.
That's insane.
And he goes
the
up.
Jets. Or no, they didn't play the Jets. Sorry.
And he's a 5-star play this week in most fantasy lineups against this Browns defense. So I don't know. I think you buy in right now.
He's so good.
Buy in right now. 2nd-round pick out of Penn State. That player prop parlay that I gave is plus 3,000.
They always have a good tight end too.
I like
Miller. They always have a good tight end.
Now, the MLB season ends October 6th. I don't really have a whole lot when it comes to Major League Baseball. I've really been bought into football, as have the 2 other guys on the screen. But, I do like a few first-inning unders. Actually, 1 first-inning over on Friday. Yeah, naturally.
Whoa.
But the reason I'm bringing up these 2 games is I'm staying away from player prop bets like we were hammering in the months of June, July, and early August. Now that football's back, I've been putting my full attention on that. I haven't even touched fantasy baseball in like 2 months. I'm really good in April for fantasy baseball.
Why haven't you touched it?
Because I'm in first.
Oh,
I've been tanking to get the first pick.
It's still baseball season, dude.
I've been
We're in the
tanking.
ship. We're battling it out.
Get out of here. Get out. I can remove your teams instantly. Don't play this game.
Troy's got
I'll do
football,
what they told you a couple years ago. I'll write my stuff down. I'll keep my own score.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, what a conversation that was. A quick backstory here: we were playing fantasy football freshman year of college, and we were playing in a league with one of our fraternity brothers. It was with his uncle and the rest of his family.
His family, and then like they just asked me, and then I asked you.
Right. So we were playing fantasy football. I lost. I was a little bit bitter, but in college, there's nothing else to do but play fantasy football and drink. So I wanted to play fantasy football.
Remember, he didn't make a consolation.
He didn't make a consolation bracket,
and that's what you were upset about.
I was like, "Why?"
We paid like $50.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to see what I can finish at least with this team. My squad was decent. It wasn't a poor team. So I hated this league though because I always reffed soccer on the weekends. And it was during football games. And that was just my way to have some extra money in college when you go back for the week. And in this league, there was no waiver. You could pick up any player at any time, and it was the biggest bunch of bull crap because
as you see the running back go down, somebody's picking that
somebody
dude
got
up.
him, and I'm like I said, I'm in the midst of working
on Sunday,
so I couldn't pick up any players. So that kind of pissed me off all season. Well, when playoffs came around and there was no consolation bracket, of course I raised havoc, and he told me over the messaging board, just write your own consolation bracket and keep score. I thought that was the most ate-up thing in the entire world, so I did it because I'm going to prove you wrong. Well, I kept my waiver, James, because I followed along with every game at that point because it was getting close to fantasy playoffs, and Melvin Gordon went down, and I picked up Austin Eckler instantly.
And that was the commissioner of the league.
The commissioner of the league
had Melvin Gordon and was in the playoffs.
Yes. And was in the playoffs, and I picked him up, and he said he was going to drop him from my team. And I said, you can't do that because I'm in a consolation bracket right now. And
you said to make the consolation bracket, so you did.
This 50-year-old man was cussing out a 19-year-old for picking up Austin Eckler. And
we've never met the dude.
I'd never met the guy. I only knew Trevor.
Slow old man.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we were doing. So I kept commenting back, and I was being a so-called shit disturber because he was doing that the back end of the season and the stupid rule with picking up players. I was pissed. And
I've never seen anything like that.
The only guy.
What the fuck, guys?
Exactly, Bryson. Exactly.
Peanut Brittle. That's his fault for Peanut Brittle Gordon. That's his fault. He should have known.
I couldn't believe it. And so it was crazy how the family decided to then gang up on me, which is funny because aren't you competitive and want to win this league? But no, just because Mr. Commissioner, head honcho uncle is raising hell about me picking up a player, which was fair game in the playoffs at this point. It was nobody said that in the consolation bracket you couldn't. I knew that it was completely ate up and I would never recommend somebody doing that. But because I was part of this league,
it would never happen in any other league.
No, because you have a waiver.
Yeah, exactly. That would never. That would never happen.
Of not having waivers.
I get that it was ate up. I totally do, and I will always be on the side of that will never happen in a league that I'm in. I will never allow somebody that's not in the playoffs to not keep playing their fantasy league the way that they want to or the way that it's gone all season long because everybody knows it's kind of a courtesy rule not to pick up anybody if you are in the money. Now, side note though, if you have a punishment at 10th place, you pick up anybody whenever you want. But
Tyler Murray answered the call of duty.
Correct. Answering the call of duty. You can pick up anybody you want.
Crazy,
but at this point, I was pissed. So I picked him up, and that fight happened. I don't even know where my head was going here.
Needless to say, me and Andrew were going back and forth with this family. And Austin Eckler stayed on it.
And Austin Eckler stayed. It was amazing. And then they started
won that consolation bracket.
Oh, I did because I was the only one in it. Nobody else kept their consolation. But
he wasn't actually keeping a score either.
No, I was just pissed.
Yeah, he just did it out of spite.
But anyway, I've given up on baseball until Major League postseason.
Playoffs.
Of course.
So, but I still want to give people out there that
Goalies will be in.
Yeah, I still want to give people some money-making plays if you are locked in on baseball. I really love the Cleveland-Texas first inning under on Friday. That's Cody Morris and John Gray on the bump. Neither lineup impresses me. John Gray has given up a run in his last 3 starts, but he's significantly better at home. I still like it, but when I look at the lineups here, when you have to really look at offense when it comes down to it. Some of the lineups that he faced that scored runs on him were Tampa Bay. That was just at least one example that I came across. So I'm not in love with the Cleveland lineup. They're the only one that really scares me here, but I really do like that first inning under. On the contrary, I love the first inning over in the Detroit White Sox game. That is Eduardo Rodriguez and Lucas Giolito. Now, last week, if you remember, we talked about...
Thank you, Lucas.
We talked about Lucas Giolito giving up a run in the first inning, and that screwed us. I had also given stats about how he does that a lot, so I don't know why I didn't ride with that. But one guy that gives up more first inning runs than any other pitcher that I bet against on, Eduardo Rodriguez.
That's an absolute lock.
First inning over. I bet that's going to be minus odds because everybody's thinking like me in this case. But I don't even love either of those lineups either. The White Sox have been one of the most disappointing baseball teams that I've ever seen play the sport of baseball with the predictions that they had coming into this season. And Detroit is just booty cheeks. So I'm over here thinking, why not? Give 2 of the worst pitchers in the first inning up against each other and over. Easy.
I like it.
So those are just 2. I just wanted to touch on those really quickly before we got back to football because I wanted to keep it in kind of a daily order here. But as we move into Saturday, what people have loved from the show already has been college football, and we were really good last week. We gave a ton of great plays. I know we hit probably more than we wanted to on the show, but we had a very good record, and if you followed along with that Memphis parlay, we were 2 points away from cashing in over $500 on a $15 bet, I think. I don't think it was anything. Maybe it was a $10 bet. So keep following along with some of these lines. James loves his Alabama Crimson Tide. Who are they playing this week?
Vandy.
Oh, really? Oh, that was
Vandy
very delayed.
3-1. They already hit their season total. Already hit their season win total at over 2.5 games.
Them in Kansas.
So, well, I don't know. I'm a little
crazy.
Yeah, they're 40-point favorites. I hit last week on Bama -12 first quarter. Hit Bryce Young 2.5 touchdowns. Trayshawn Holden touchdown and his yards 45. Prentice, the other guys, we don't have a number 1, so Prentice was out and Trayshawn just ate in that first half when he played. I expect it to be a blowout again, but I do love the same exact props like Bryce Young. I hope Vandy can score a couple touchdowns, keep it close, at least in the first half. And I love Bryce Young 2.5 again. I love Trayshawn Holden's yards and him to get into the end zone.
Moving on from that, I love Coastal Carolina on Thursday. You could really play their line, which is -2. It's -110. I'd probably stick to their money line against Georgia State. That's not really a huge difference to me, and I'd rather keep the 2 points at only losing just 20 on the odds there than trying to play the line and only winning by 1. That team only winning by 1 rather, or, potentially losing. Moneyline just gives the best chance there against Georgia State. I don't really have a lot of concern with Coastal winning or covering. They did struggle low-key against FCS opponent Gardner-Webb last week, but they still won. They're 3-0. Georgia State is 0-3. They lost to UNC already this year by 7. They lost to South Carolina, I think, 35-14, so they've played well in those games. But this Coastal team is still very good. It's a defense that forces a lot of turnovers. They recorded 10 sacks and 10 takeaways already this season. Georgia State.
10 takeaways, too?
10 takeaways as well. Yep. In 3 games.
Wow, as many takeaways as sacks is crazy.
And then Georgia State has already had 2 punts blocked by their special teams. Like, their special teams unit had 2 punts blocked and returned for a touchdown. Coastal Carolina, with how strong their defense is, I don't think they have any issue in this game. I think they can force enough mistakes out of Georgia State to really be competitive and take that game. I like Coastal Carolina on Thursday. I also really like Florida and Tennessee's over on Saturday. And this one's interesting, because we've seen Florida play some really good teams early on in the season, and they don't score a bunch of points. But just look at Tennessee's tempo here really fast. They have one of the faster tempos in football. They could really take this run-heavy attack that Florida presents and make them play volunteer style of football, fast football, because they'll most likely be playing from behind in this game. Keys to the matchup, two very explosive offenses, but one led college football at 3.12 plays per minute in 2021. That was Tennessee. Hendon Hooker has been awesome. The dual threat quarterback from Tennessee has been amazing. He just keeps climbing the ranks and the Heisman voting. I think there should be no issue in watching Tennessee and Florida cover at 62.5. I know a bunch of models out there have this even encroaching 70. I'll take those extra points in between and just take the over at 62.5. And the last one on this list, complete toss-up. And I want to talk about this because it's pretty crazy. Iowa, Rutgers. We keep bringing up Iowa on this show. But the under hit last week. Did you guys see what the over-under is on Iowa for Saturday? They took it off of DraftKings. It's that crazy so far. Over-under 34. And it started at 35.5. Both teams
go under.
Both teams here have top 10 defenses in college football. And, James, interesting you say that. 89% of the public is on the under.
And it's still that low.
Over.
Yeah. I would too. If it gets to like 30, come on,
dude.
I'd love to watch that game.
It's like a profit boost.
Two or three touchdowns.
Look, I'm not opposed to the over either. Rutgers has put up points against Boston College this year. They didn't put up a lot of points last week. I think the total in that game was 30. We know Iowa hasn't put up over 34 points.
All it takes is an off week.
But I agree with you there, Troy. So they weren't playing as good of a defense.
They're like the Bears.
Nevada's not that great of a team, but Rutgers is on defense.
They don't know how to score in the second half.
But Iowa got blanked because of that long weather delay that they had. And they were just rolling against Nevada. Right. I could have seen Iowa put up over 40 points
30,
in that game.
35, yeah.
So I'm not opposed to taking the over here, and over may eventually be plus. It may be plus. Now
it might get down to 31, 32.
I was going to say, or if it keeps going down.
Yeah, if it keeps going down, I would take the over. Because the under would probably then be plus. If we're getting closer to 30,
too much of a sweat, I feel like at that point.
It's a complete toss-up when you look at these two teams. But I always like looking at a matchup like this because I don't know if we've seen odds like this every year in college football. Maybe one team every year has a outlandish low of an over-under, but most of the time when it is low, I think it hits. I think Missouri-Vandy hit a while back. I know Iowa hit maybe a year ago. So when the under is this low, normally it hits. Normally Vegas is right.
I feel like we did like an Army-Navy game that was insanely low, like 32, 33-ish, and it was like 17-10.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy how the odds makers can be so right on a lot of these matchups.
They know who's gonna win.
It's scripted. It is.
I'm telling you, they saw my bet on Sunday and just go, damn it.
Yep. Well, and they saw my bet. They saw my bet and just
even started.
They saw my bet and just flipped me the bird.
Yeah, they're like, ha ha ha.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. Raj placing his bets.
Exactly.
Me placing my bets. I'm going to be placing a ton of bets tomorrow, and I am just going to be thinking about what happened to me. I got roasted this weekend. And we're going to be in Kansas City, Troy and I at least, watching a lot of these games together, so I can't wait to do that. Sorry, James, you're not invited. We're going to have to get a lot of our
bets in before we go.
Yeah, we will. Well, I at least can place some bets on the way to Missouri because we drive through Iowa for like an hour.
Yeah.
Not mad.
That's true.
Not mad.
That's true.
Troy's out of luck.
Yeah.
See ya. Now, NFL games this weekend, though. There's a lot of good prop bet games that I like. I don't like a lot of against the spread. I don't like a lot of money lines. I really don't like a lot of over-unders, so I'm going to avoid those this weekend. Normally, I can lean one direction or the other, but the way I saw a lot of these teams play in week 2, I'm staying away. And I'm just going to go with the offenses that I know will be successful. I don't know about you guys, if you guys are feeling the same way with that. Do you guys like any money lines, any spreads, things like that? There's one spread I like. I'll get to that later.
I tend to stay away from that. I don't know. I like to think I know spreads and stuff, but I try to stick to my bread and butter, which has been touchdowns throughout the first 2 weeks. I mean, I've hit both weeks, and then I hit that player prop Sunday Night Football. So, yeah, I think I'll stick to touchdowns again, just touchdowns.
Enlighten us, James.
So yeah, last week. So I've been sticking to do 3 wide receivers, or you do 4 running backs, only noon slate or only 3 o'clock slate.
And it's been working.
2 in each. It has, 2 for 2 on the week. So I hit Tyreek, Michael Thomas, DJ Moore, and the 3 o'clock slate saved me again. That was like 15 for 225, or no, 275. So the odds on the 3 wide receivers are
275.
Yeah, sorry, 50 more. Odds for the 3 wide receivers are great. You kind of have to bump it up to 4 running backs to get the better odds. This week in the new games for running backs, I like DeMont to get in. I think they'll see how well he played and they'll finally give him the ball. And since he screwed you over, surely he'll get in. I like Montgomery, Hilaire, Swift, and then Gibson for my running backs. And then for my wide receivers, I like Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown again, Jamar Chase, and then Devontae Adams to score for the 3rd straight week.
It's interesting that you brought up
for my noon games.
It's interesting that you brought up the Lions-Vikings game. I really like that game for prop bets as well. I love Swift, and I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I also really like Dalvin Cook to get in after the way he played last week. I think with how much the Lions allow on offense for running backs, they've allowed 5.1 yards per carry and 5 rushing touchdowns already this year. I think Dalvin Cook gets in this week. Like we talked about, DeAndre Swift, he's finally feeling healthy, and the Vikings defense has been horrific against the run this year. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like Cooper Kupp out there, and Justin Jefferson, arguably the best young receiver in the NFL, maybe not right now because of the way St. Brown's playing, but still, Jefferson is taken higher in drafts than Amon-Ra. Jefferson has seen 23 targets through 2 weeks. The Lions' defense has allowed 7 yards per pass, and he torched them last year. Do you guys remember the numbers that he put up against the Lions? 18 receptions, 306 yards, and a touchdown over 2 games. Kirk Cousins will bounce back. That offense will bounce back. Those 4 guys are scoring touchdowns. I didn't even draft up what it would look like in the bet slip because I don't even want to know what the odds are right now. I know I'm just going to put all 4 of those guys in a bet and say, let's ride. Broncos country.
That's the one line I like is the Vikings.
Let's ride.
That's right.
I like your Bears, Raj. I think that they bounce back against Houston.
3-point favorites.
The Ravens play the Bills next week. We can't start the season 1-3. I like them against the Patriots. I know it's biased, but I like the Chiefs. The Colts are going 0-3. Sorry. And the Chargers. The Chargers will handle Jacksonville. So the odds for those guys were only like 650-ish, but dude, those are easy picks. The Raven game's going to be the toughest one.
I think the primetime games are going to be rough too. Sunday Night Football and Monday night
games are gross this week.
I know we talked about Thursday Night Football in detail and lengthy detail, but Sunday night and Monday night, I don't even have anything written down yet because I don't know what direction I'm going to go with this. I don't even know. I may avoid these 2 games, frankly. That's not true. I'm a degenerate. I'll probably bet on them.
I was going to say, I always have to at least put like 5 on a touchdown parlay or something, like just in case, you know what I mean? Like, so for the Sunday night game, I was like, all right, Debo, Ayuk, Javonte, Melvin. All right. Just four of the mainstream guys. I'm sure it'd be like 1,800, 2,000, and it's, just in case, I'd feel so bad if I missed out on it,
I do think Russell Wilson will go off this weekend. He hasn't yet.
After hitting what I hit, I'm doing 3 touchdowns and just hammering those guys as props. I mean, I'm going to do Javonte, Cortland Sutton, and Ayuk.
I love it. Jimmy G and Ayuk do have very good chemistry together. They were talking about that a lot with Trey Lance and Brandon Ayuk, but Jimmy G and Ayuk have better chemistry than those 2. But Debo as well.
Back-to-back weeks.
Started eating last year.
Javonte's got tackled at the 1-yard line back-to-back weeks. So
keep that in mind.
Yeah, those
keep
2
that
fumbles inside the 5 were cool.
Yeah, he'll punch it in this week.
Ball security.
Sutton had a touchdown. Sutton had a touchdown called back. He should have had one last week. So
it'll be fun.
And then Ayuk, I love that guy. I'll always put money on that guy. He's fun to watch.
It'll be fun. It's going to be a really fun weekend. And now I want to have some fun on big plays, bad days, and parlays. It's time for Helium Hot Takes.
Oh, boy.
Take out your weapons, boys. We have balloons on standby.
Happy birthday to me.
Is that what your balloon says? I just got the most generic balloon.
Troy got mine.
It was happy birthday
on my way home
right.
from work, and I fully expected it to be like Princess Jasmine.
I almost got one that says "You're my love," but I was rushing.
Now I got the most generic balloon, but it's so funny. I went to Party City and I walked up to the counter and I was kind of like sweating because I didn't have anything in my hands. And I walked up to the lady and I'm like, "Hey, can I have one balloon?" And she's like, "What?" I'm like, I just need a balloon. Can I just get a balloon?" It's like weird.
What the fuck, guys? No.
We don't have balloons. Sorry.
I know. Well, and I'm like, I just need. And she's like, "Well, you can pick any balloon on the front rack." I'm like, "You don't have to yell my order out." Like, she really wanted to know
It's
if
like
I could
a
have
carnival,
one.
like you just won a prize.
Well, and it's funny. I'm like, I don't even care what balloon it is. Just go fill this one up with helium. Like, I don't care.
And this balloon's worth $3 of $3 for a balloon.
Oh, mine was only $1.69. But you should see the amount of string that this lady gave me. Look how much string this is. Like, I'm just still
going. Mine's like a kite.
I know.
I started unraveling mine, and I was like, if I lose this, I'm gonna never hear the end of it.
I know. Oh man, and it was weird. So I came in with the balloon too into the office, and I got made fun of. And I'm like, "You guys are just jealous. You don't have a balloon." Now, do you guys know the secret to like making a hole in a balloon outside of using scissors?
No secret.
So you put a piece of tape. You put a piece of tape on the spot that you're gonna poke with like a needle, and then it should just go right through without popping. Now that's just what I've been told and what I've looked up. So
yeah, me too.
I have so much tape. Here, let me get the 5 rolls.
I even remembered scissors just to make a little sliver. Don't worry, we'll be fine. All right, are we ready?
I'm probably screwed. I'm probably gonna mess this up.
Oh my God, it works like a charm.
Yeah, whatever.
This is probably gonna be loud. Heads up.
Yeah, people. I feel like my helium's gonna last a solid 10 seconds.
That was easy.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's just gonna be flowing out. Oh, it's going. We gotta go.
Oh, it's going. It's going. Oh my goodness.
Just cover it.
Helium hot takes on big plays, bad days, and parlays. I need a little bit more.
There's no way.
No, come on, we need more.
You guys ready? You guys ready? Oh my goodness, this is insane. You guys ready? You guys ready? Maybe I make the hole a little bit bigger. Oh yeah, this is better.
Let's get in there. Hurry, hurry. I don't have
3, 2.
Sarah's gonna break the record.
All right, hold on. Oh my goodness gracious! All right, guys, take one more big one, and then we're gonna start this. All right, ready, set, go. Welcome to Helium Hot Takes on big.
Make the playoffs.
Hold on.
Joe Flacco's an absolute beast.
Stop it!
What?
Stop! We gotta do Helium Hot Takes before I run out of helium. All right, one more gulp. Here we go. It's Helium Hot Takes on big plays, bad days, and parlays. Aaron Judge breaks the AL record of 62 before our next show.
There's gonna be 3 picks in the Thursday night game. It's a lock, people.
Albert Pujols' 700th home run on the road.
NFL MVP won't be a quarterback this year. Hurry up, Troy.
Iowa State's gonna get upset by Baylor.
Kansas is actually a football school now, not a basketball school.
DFS lineup should start Joe Flacco this week. He should be quarterback 1.
Tyreek Hill can eat my ass, so can Jalen Waddle. They'll go off again.
I'm going to say Green Bay Packers are going to win the Super Bowl. You heard it here first.
Go the Ravens.
No, actually the Bears will get the number 1 pick.
That's the funniest thing you've ever said in your entire life.
Oh, you guys go at it. I'm out.
Stetson Bennett will win the Heisman, and Georgia wins the Natty. International team wins the President's Cup. Regular season most rushing touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, everybody.
Will Anderson, Heisman, Troy.
We'll go. Oh, yeah. Will's a lock.
The Phillies.
Look how much helium this dude has.
The Phillies will miss the playoffs. You already tanked your helium?
Empty.
Dude, it's hard to control.
I don't really know. Well, because you guys didn't do the tape tactic.
Don't
you got to
worry,
do the
I'll
tape
learn
tactic.
to savor it. I didn't know I thought we were just gonna start shouting stuff. I didn't know we were gonna take turns.
Well, if we all started, oh my goodness, if we all started shouting things, then everything would be havoc on big plays, bad days, and parlays.
I thought that was the point.
Baylor's also going to upset Iowa State.
That would be crazy.
So I don't know why they're the underdog, but
wow!
Good God, this is going to pass.
We're feeling it. This is insane.
Not bad.
That's the best pass I've seen since Joe Montana.
Montana was a quarterback, you idiot.
I said Joe Montana. Big plays, bad days, and parlays hit all their bets this weekend. That is the last Helium hot take.
They sure
I don't know if
did.
it's that hot.
See, I don't really know. I don't even know when this helium's going to wear off. I should probably just keep talking until it does, and then that would be really interesting whenever we get back to my normal voice. Oh, my gosh. We are getting there. Build a parlay segment coming up next. Any more helium hot takes from you guys? I think Wisconsin covers against Ohio State.
The big.
Or that could happen.
You don't like
a
that.
big dud.
Wisconsin.
That is insane. Holy cow. I went through, they filled up this balloon with a ton of helium, and I was just going nuts with it. Is helium really bad for you?
I don't think it's great.
I think a lot of it's probably bad.
Oh, man. All right, I got to rest. I'm going to throw it.
Can you imagine the first person that found that out?
They probably died. They
Like,
kept
could you
doing
imagine just being like, oh, I'm going to... Like, it was probably a kid at a birthday party.
Hey guys, how funny would it be to suck in whatever is inside that
He probably
floating
just did it
piece
without
of
knowing.
latex?
They started talking funny, and then the parents probably just loved it.
I mean, that is just insane. I don't even know. I'm sure helium's not great for you. Helium.
I'm feeling a little
bad
lightheaded, not going to lie.
Inhale. It's bad to inhale when pregnant, it says. Sorry, James.
Shoot.
Breathing in pure helium can cause death by asphyxiation in just minutes.
Nice. Let's do this every week.
Oh, man.
Let's go.
So me and Troy are saying to Raj for
Don't try this at home.
Hey, if it's on the interweb, it's true. It's true.
On?
Now, see, this says inhaling helium from a pressurized tank can also cause a gas or air embolism, which is a bubble that becomes trapped in the air
smart to
blood
do it
vessel.
straight out of the tank.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sounds
I don't
like
know if we should do this
fun.
every week.
We could throw it in every once in a while.
Every once in a while. You shouldn't just do it every day. That's the main
Yes.
thing.
When you
Don't
wake
do it
up in the morning, brush your teeth, suck a helium balloon.
Helium addiction incoming.
It was fun. I think that was pretty fun. I think it went over well for the first time we did helium hot takes.
Clearing out defenders faster than a teenager clears his search history on his web browser.
Dude, Mark Sanchez.
Can you imagine
fumbling on and off the field?
Can you imagine using that analogy on live TV? I mean, there's been a lot of like
football.
bad
And get away with,
analogies.
like, I don't know. I feel
bad
like so many
takes.
guys have gotten in trouble.
I mean, I think Jay Feely got kicked off college football broadcasts because he thought dude hit the crossbar on a field goal that went way left, like 50 yards left. Do you remember that reaction he had? And
Dude,
it was some small town football game.
was
Off
horrible.
the crossbar! He just barely had enough.
It's like when
Someone told me
beer
to do
from the
that.
stands.
He had to be completely sarcastic. That was
There's no
such a
way
shake.
because I think he said like Central Michigan ties it 3-3, and the
Oh
graphic
my
pops up
God.
on the lower third, and it said 3-0. Now I think the only like way to side with Jay Feely in this matter was you can't really see from the angle of that press box, but look for the guy's arms. Are they up? Are they going like this? Like what are you talking about? You just got
Right.
caught looking down. You just got caught looking down. I have no sympathy for you. I do enjoy Jay Feely,
Jeez.
though. Is he on Fox College Kickoff, or is it College Game? I think he's on Fox. Regardless, that's a conversation for a different day. Let's build a parlay because last week we each took home $150, and we are kicking ourselves because we didn't put more than $5 down. But why would you? I mean, Albert Pujols got like, 3 at-bats in that game? And one of them was that dong?
Like I said, you're insane.
I'm going to go last here. I'd like to know what you guys think because I'm sure you're going to stick with NFL.
I am it, yes.
You are correct.
All right. Whoever wants to go. Not everybody at once.
Troy, you want to take it away?
Well, mine is the lock of the century after what happened to dude over here with his laptop. David Montgomery is an absolute lock for a touchdown. That's my lock.
Man, I got to write. I got to be disappointed 2 weeks in a row, huh?
Nope. He's going to score the first touchdown. I almost want to do him. I'll probably do him first touchdown. I'll throw a nice little 5-10 on it, but dude, that's an absolute lock.
Might as well do him 2 touchdowns.
Is their game at noon? He might be the first touchdown of the day.
Yeah, his game is at noon o'clock.
Yeah, first touchdown of Sunday. Boom. I saw somebody hit that with Devin Duvernay. Unbelievable.
That's pretty crazy.
Crazy. First touchdown of the week. Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, so another guy that D-Mont had a good week last week, but I'm going to say Jamar Chase, over 100 yards receiving. I'm sure his yards are probably going to be at like 85 or something, so that'll definitely be plus. I mean, the Bengals have just been brutal, man.
He's just due.
Yeah, the Bengals have been awful, and I don't see that continuing. Jamar, he had a great week 1, even when they played bad. So I just think he goes back to his old ways against the Jets too. They've been playing okay, so I think they can keep it close, and Burrow will be throwing the ball a lot.
So we have Jamar Chase over 100 receiving yards. Troy has David Montgomery anytime touchdown. Guys, this is funny because I really wanted to go Bulls again. Like, why not ride the hot hand? But the Cardinals aren't going to be at home until next weekend when they play the Pirates. So it got me thinking, the baseball gods are always at work. And they won't let that dude get 700 home runs until he plays the Pirates in Busch Stadium again. That's when he's going to do it. They're going to make it so that he gets that last home run then. If he doesn't get his home run today, Wednesday, as like I said, we're recording Wednesday, which I think he could get 699 today. I think it could come this weekend against the Dodgers, 699 at some point if he sees Kershaw. But the Dodgers ballpark, at least this year, are 11th in ranking on easiest to hit a home run in that ballpark. So he was also a former Dodger. I could see that home run then coming in that series, but I don't think he'll get 7. His
family still lives there.
Yes, correct. But I don't think he'll get 700 until he's back in St. Louis. I think the baseball gods will be more at work to come back to the city that loves and adores him, opposed to where his family's at. I think his family will travel to St. Louis for that series and be there, so it's going to be the combination of the two. So I'm going to avoid that this week. I was going to do something with soccer because there's international friendlies going on and the UEFA, and I knew you guys would just throw up on the pod. So, and because I know nothing about football, I'll stick with football. I'm taking the Chiefs -5.5. It's -110. It's not the juiciest odds, but Mahomes is 22-1 straight up and 18-5 against the spread the week after playing a divisional opponent. He's also 19-0 straight up and 16-3 after a win against a divisional opponent. I think that he has no issue taking down the Colts after they got destroyed by Jacksonville. So I'm adding that into the parlay.
Every time I think of Colts Chiefs, I go back to that Andrew Luck, the playoff game. You know,
the Chiefs
like
blew it. Yeah.
43-38 or something, like crazy.
Now, like I said, I was looking at a lot at soccer today, and not to get too off topic here, but I texted my sister's fiance because he's a huge soccer fan, and I said, give me a lock. Give me a soccer lock for the weekend. And he didn't really even know what games were going on because he said some type of – well, there's like a soccer break going on, and I don't really know what that means. I think it's with either like the Premier League or Champions League. I don't know. I don't follow soccer. But when I sent him the odds, he goes, I like – my locks are Brazil and Argentina. And I looked at the locks. Brazil is -500 and Argentina's -1100. I said, well, you got to give me better odds
He's not
than
wrong.
that. I know. But I'm like,
you were going to say they were playing each other.
No. And I was like, what do you mean you're going to give me these two? And he started laughing. And then I said, no, you got to give me like locks that are reasonable. So he mentioned Portugal and he mentioned France. Both are projected to win. I think Portugal total was the juicier one of the two. I think they're minus 130 against the Czech Republic. But he also ended up throwing Sweden in the mix, and Sweden's playing Serbia, and they're playing horribly, Sweden. They're plus 310 in the matchup, but because they're plus 310 and the way that he was talking about how international friendlies tend to go, they can just go any way no matter what. I was like, man, maybe I throw this 310 in there and just completely freak out Troy and James, and then when it hits, them just give me another text. You're insane. but I didn't. I went with the safe. I went with my knowledge over his. I don't know how much I can trust Patrick. I don't know. I don't know how much I can trust his soccer knowledge.
He didn't even know there were games going on.
Yeah, that's a little tough.
I don't know. I don't know how much I can trust him. But that's it. That's our build to parlay. Remember, Chiefs minus 5.5, Jamar Chase over 100 receiving yards, and David Montgomery to score a touchdown. If you missed anything throughout the rest of the show, we'll make sure to timestamp that for you. We'll be posting clips everywhere and anywhere over the next week. Follow us on @HerdAtSports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also YouTube. This is where you can find the best plays and no bad days, I should say, and the best
except for you
parlays, except for me. Yeah, that's why it's in the title. It's in the title for a reason. Nice, Joey. One of the ways. One of the ways.
I did the same thing.
James, Troy, thanks for joining us as always. For our producer, Shane Schillerberg, I'm Andrew Rogers. It's Big Plays, Bad Days, and Parlays.